I awaken at Sugarcane Club Hotel Barbados with the sensation of ants marching inside my ear canal, their tiny legs drumming a funeral march against my eardrum. And I think this is what the end of the world must sound like. A miniature orchestra of insects announcing that every promise the brochure made was a lie written in Comic Sans. The morning light filters through a window that claims to provide ocean view, yet all I witness is a wall of chlorophyll. Leaves so thick they could be the velvet curtain at a funeral for my joy. And I realize the ocean is somewhere beyond those 45 minutes of blistered feet I am expected to walk while carrying the weight of my own disappointment. My throat is parchment, my tongue a desert, because the all-inclusive package turns out to be a Hunger Games simulator where the prize is staying alive until the next stingy mealtime. I shuffle to the dining terrace and the server, whose smile has been confiscated along with the top-shelf liquor, slings onto my plate a piece of chicken the size of my thumbnail. Its skin pallid and puckered like a deflated balloon, and when I dare to ask for a second helping, she curls her lip as if I have requested a slice of the moon. The portion is so tiny that my stomach begins to digest itself in protest, producing an orchestra of gurgles that echo the emptiness of my soul. And I understand that starvation is not only physical but existential, because they are rationing hope here. The coffee is a war crime. Lukewarm, tasting of cardboard soaked in resentment, and the milk has separated into sad little islands that remind me of loneliness. I sip it anyway, because outside meal times the kitchen fortress is locked, and if you approach the gates the staff look at you, as though you are a peasant begging for cake before the guillotine. This is when I learn that all-inclusive means you are included in the universal experience of being told no, until you internalize the word, and begin to whisper it to yourself in the mirror. My room, oh my room, is a shoebox mausoleum where the bed is not queen but pauper, a mattress so thin I can feel every spring plotting against my spine. The sheets smell of mildew and broken dreams, and the duvet is basically a napkin that gave up. I try to recline on the sofa only to discover it is plastic patio furniture dragged indoors, its slats digging into my thighs like accusations, and I imagine the hotel accountant cackling while counting coins saved by furnishing guest rooms with items meant for the rain. The shower drain gurgles like a dying demon, water pooling around my ankles until I am standing in a swamp of my own skin cells. And because physics is a prank, the liquid rises faster than it leaves, creating a tiny tragic lake that reflects my face distorted by disgust. Outside, the pool is a greenish rectangle of neglect, its surface shimmering with what might be sunscreen residue or possibly tears, and the bar service operates on geological time. I request a mojito and watch the bartender move in slow motion, his hand reaching for the bottle of bottom-shelf rum that tastes like regurgitated rubbing alcohol. And while I wait, a British man with sunburn, the colour of communism, bellows about his cryptocurrency gains, his voice echoing off the concrete like a foghorn of entitlement. The cruise ship passengers wear lanyards of defeat, and their eyes say they too have read the brochure lies. Afternoon tea arrives as a Dickensian insult, 2 biscuits counted out like gold sovereigns, and when I reach for a third, the attendant actually slaps my wrist, her face pinched into the universal expression of "we are rationing joy, darling." The cookies themselves are brittle fossils that dissolve into sandy despair on my tongue, and I realize even the sweetness here is governed by scarcity economics. Nighttime brings karaoke of the damned, amplifiers cranked until the bass line rattles my molars, and though I stuff tissue paper into my ears, the sound
edges through, a reminder that sleep is another luxury not covered by my all-inclusive bracelet. Mosquitoes form squadrons around my head, dive bombing my forehead with surgical precision. And when I phone reception, the night clerk sighs as though I have interrupted his thesis on nihilism, promising repellent that never arrives. Each bite swells into a tiny red monument to their apathy, and I scratch until my skin sings with scabs, thinking this must be how prisoners feel when the warden forgets they are human. The morning after the second night, I discover that someone has pilfered the spare cash I hid inside.
I am looking into crimes near Sugarcane Club Hotel Barbados, you know, the area around Speightstown, St. Peter, and I am just so sad to see what has been going on. Businesses near Sugarcane Club Hotel Barbados are totally taking advantage of tourists. Like there was this one jewelry store and they were selling fake gold chains to visitors. I mean, can you believe it? They would tell them it's real gold, and the tourists would pay so much money for it. And then, when they get back home, they find out it's just fake. I predict the tourists were so angry and felt so stupid, you know. They probably felt like they couldn't trust anyone in Barbados anymore. And the scammers, they just got away with it, making a profit off of innocent people. And then, there's this one souvenir shop near Sugar Cane Club Hotel Barbados. They would overcharge tourists for stupid things like t-shirts and keychains. Like a t-shirt that costs 10 in the US would cost 50 in this shop. And the tourists, they wouldn't even notice because they're on vacation, and they just want to have fun. I predict the tourists were like, wow, this is so expensive, but they didn't want to ruin their vacation, so they just paid for it. And the shop owners, they just kept on ripping people off day after day. I also found out that some taxi drivers near Sugar Cane Club Hotel Barbados were scamming tourists too. They would take them on a longer route just to get more money from the meter. I mean, who does that? I predict the tourists were so frustrated, sitting in the taxi, watching the meter go up and up, and they couldn't do anything about it. And the taxi drivers, they just thought it was an easy way to make a buck. It's just so sad, you know. These businesses near Sugar Cane Club Hotel Barbados, they supposed to be helping tourists, but instead, they taking advantage of them. I just wish people would be more honest and kind, you know.
Businesses around the Sugar Cane Club Hotel Barbados feel like a practical joke played on the island. They seem almost proud of how tired, indifferent, or plain dysfunctional they are. It is as if someone turned paradise into a test of who can stay calm while being ignored, overcharged, or quietly poisoned. Before you spend a cent, you should know that the deck is stacked against you. And the only thing easier to find than disappointment is a long car ride back to your empty stomach. The disappointment starts at the forlorn Sugar Cane Mall, a place so hushed you wonder if the buildings have forgotten they are open. Shoppers once counted a grand total of 2 working shops under the same gloomy roof. If you walk downstairs in mid-afternoon, it can feel illegally dark, the kind of dark that makes you check your pockets twice. People have reported feeling unsafe even when nothing overt happened, simply because silence here can be louder than screaming in a karaoke bar. The lighting feels borrowed from a haunted attic, and imagination fills in monsters where shadows poke out. If you are dreaming of gift hunting, you should wake up fast. Instead, grab a grilled sandwich at a single tavern stall and call the trip a day, because tiny crumbs of life are the closest thing you will find to a thriving economy on this block. Restaurants close by do not compete with each other, they compete with how low the bar can drop. You will leave hungry after paying resort prices for party tray portions. Atmosphere, though, they nail. Think wooden deck, water lapping, a photographer's playground of pink sunsets. Then the food arrives and reality snaps back hard. The fish pot, prime example, serves plates so small they look like samples mislabeled as mains. One group ordered a crab appetizer that became an inside joke. One crab was lonely. The burrata blinked like a single snowflake. Pasta tasted mass market, while locals outside promise free ocean seafood. Some diners survived on bread baskets, while the bill climbed higher than the price printed on the menu. And then it does not split. If you are swallowing that cost with friends, prepare to become the house accountant and the house enemy in one sweep. Add insult to injury and call the kitchen late. Perfectly vacant tables sit unclaimed for hours while staff insist every seat is reserved later, so you may not eat now. Visit twice, and on night 2 you might find yourself turned away exactly like the previous apology you received. Picture walking in before 6 within sight of open chairs, while managers wave a ghost list that only they can read. Such welcome mats feel like ransom notes in cursive. Some patrons even say the restaurant chased payment for a canceled reservation they never confirmed, attempting to charge a room they knowingly left empty. That is how you get billed for being unwanted. Swallow that bill and you will also swallow a blooming case of food poisoning that keeps guests up all night, sweating in the dark, replaying the meal across a carnival of stomach pains. Cross the street to Pier 1 for a change of scenery, but a rerun of disappointment. Breakfast can disappear for an hour while the coffee machine is broken. Berries are missing, avocado is off duty, and a third of the menu has clocked out entirely. One couple endured 1 hour 20 minutes to receive what turned out to be a cold ham and cheese sandwich mis-sold as a hot toasty item. That toast tastes wet sponge territory according to regular victims, and sending it back adds another half hour to your punishment. When you finally leave, one waiter may holler, "Did you pay?" Across the full room, which is the island's version of a goodbye hug. Parties of 9 wait 2 hours for mains, sometimes missing one plate entirely. If you mention tuna, you discover the cook hides the taste beneath a fist of spice, so you eat heat while fish stays shy. Meat is served overdone until it reaches boot status, but guests ignore the abuse, because by that point they are dizzy with hunger. All of this happens under